Hi there, I'm Jen, this is Remembered Reads, and this is going to be the Do I Have That Book tag, or challenge, because I've seen it called both. I was tagged a couple of months ago by Books on the Brain, and this tag was created by Keeping Tabs, and I will link to both of their videos below. This was originally created to be a timed challenge where you run around and find the books on screen, but because this is not my house, and a lot of these books are not going to be mine, or if they are mine, they're mine from many years ago. Challenge number 1 is, do you have a book with deckled edges? That doesn't. I thought that did. And yes, Catastrophe 1914, Europe Goes to War by Max Hastings has deckled edges. That is one of my books. Number 2 is, do you have a book with 3 or more people on the cover? And I think a lot of my sister's old Star Trek novels that are behind me will fit this. Let's find out. Okay, no, it's just data. How many of these only have 2? Odo and Quark? No, why do they only have 2? Oh, here we go. This is 3. It has Data, Riker, and Spartacus. That sounds ridiculous. I should read this. Right, question number 3 is, do you have a book that's based on another fictional story? And I don't know if this really counts or not, but the Swamp Thing comics are basically based on the monster from the Black Lagoon. That kind of thing has been around forever and predates the actual Swamp Thing. Question number 4 is, do you have a book with a title that's 10 letters long? I think some of my sister's med school cram guides are 10 letters long, so yeah. Psychiatry. Pediatrics. That was convenient. Number 5 is, do you have a book with a title that starts and ends with the same letter? I'm sure I do, but I'll have to find that and cut it in later. Number 6 is, do you have a Mass Market Paperback? And I do. I have Mass Effect Andromeda Initiation by N.K. Jemisin and Mac Walters. This was much better than it had any right to be. And that one is mine, unlike the Star Trek novels. Do you have a book written by an author using a pen name? Yes. Okay, we'll edit that in later. Question number 8 is, do you have a book with a character's name in the title? I just realized that I have a trashy celebrity true crime book. This is The Trials of Oscar Pistorius. So obviously the subject's name is in the title. It didn't say it had to be a novel. Number 9 is, do you have a book with 2 maps in it? I have Brian McClellan's Wrath of Empire, which is his second trilogy in the Powder Mage series. It has a map of the city of Landfall, and then it has a map of the general region of Fetresta. So yeah, 2 maps. Question number 10 is, do you have a book that was turned into a TV show? And I do. I have Terry Brooks's Shannara series. I only picked up one, but in the other room I found the original trilogy and then the second one that came out, because I was very into these between the ages of 12 and 16 maybe, so I had a lot of these. But anyway, yeah, there's a TV series called the Shannara Chronicles, which ties into... I've only watched about half of an episode of one, and I honestly don't remember enough of these, so I don't actually remember which book they're based on, but it's definitely based on this world. Number 11 is, do you have a book written by someone who's originally famous for something else? And I definitely do, because my sister loves books about politicians, and has for years. Yeah, here we go. There's Jack Layton's Speaking Out. Ideas that work for Canadians. He was a politician. He was the head of the NDP prior to his death. Number 12 is, do you have a book with a clock on the cover? I feel like I must. I feel like there was a prompt in one of the scavenger hunt tags that I did a couple of years ago, and I never found one with a clock on the cover. Number 13 is, do you have a poetry book? And I do. Right here I have the Best American Poetry 2013. Number 14 is, do you have a book with an award stamp on it? Here we go. This is Vincent Lamb's Bloodletting and Miraculous Cures, which won the Giller Prize. So there's the Giller Prize sticker. I think it's kind of hilarious that this won the Giller Prize because it's basically a physicians behaving badly series of stories, which you wouldn't expect would win a literary award because you read it and it feels like trash. But anyway, it did win the Giller. And it was fun, so. Number 15 is, do you have a book written by an author with the same initials as you? And I couldn't find one, so I don't. At least I don't believe that I do. Number 16 is, do you have a book of short stories? This is a library book that I didn't take back to the library since I talked about this in a wrap-up. Take Us to Your Chief by Drew Hayden Taylor. And this is a series of classic sci-fi stories with a contemporary First Nations outlook, is what they say on the back. It has a story where the dream catchers are how the government listens to your inner thoughts. Question number 17 is, do you have a book that's between 500 and 510 pages long? And the answer is yes, and I found it in the same shelf in the other room where I found the Shannara book, which is where all of the trashy books that I read when I was between the ages of like 12 and 14. It's funny because I see people talk about middle grade books and they're never the trash that I was reading when I was that age. Yeah, Tom Clancy's Patriot Games. You can see how beat up this was, because this was my childhood favorite because I was a weirdo. But anyway, this is, I believe, yeah, 503 pages long. Question number 18 is, do you have a book that was turned into a movie? This does double duty, because this was also turned into a movie. The movie of Hunt for Red October was better than the book, but the movie from Patriot Games, probably not. Well, maybe. Maybe they're about equal. Anyway. Doesn't matter. Do you have a graphic novel? Yes, I have loads of graphic novels. How about Scott McCloud's Sculptor? That counts. Question number 20 is, do you have a book that was written by 2 or more authors? Where is it? This is Charles Todd's A Pattern of Lies, and Charles Todd, despite the name, is actually 2 people. It's a mother-son writing team, so this was written by 2 people. That, I think, is the final question. So thank you to Books on the Brain for tagging me. Because this is an older tag, I'm going to have to look around to see who else hasn't done it. But in the meantime, if you haven't done this tag and you would like to be tagged, consider yourself tagged. That's it for now. Ciao.